How are we doing, guys? We're going to have a look at this, which is the Nash shrink tool, and why I think it's absolutely pointless. I've had to move to the garage. Kids are doing the homework, so let's crack on with it in here. I'm going to try and do it in sort of one take, just so you get an idea of how long it's taking per rig and stuff like that. So I've already done 5 rigs, and I'm not going to lie, it was a bit of a nightmare. And I've also come across another reason this is kind of pointless. So let's get into it. So scenario, you're on the bank, you've tied up some rigs, you're ready to shrink tube. Now the first issue is your rig, you've got to steam that straight. I've got to get my kettle out to steam that straight. So why would I put the shrink tube in this, then get the kettle out to steam this straight? So already the Nash shrink tube, shrinker tool, whatever, is completely redundant now. But anyway, let's pretend we haven't figured that out, and we put the rigs through it and see how it actually performs. So first thing I noticed was, as you push your rigs through, where you can see this plastic is joined onto this plastic here, can you just see the seam running along there? There's an actual little lip within the tube. You can't really see it, so it prevents you from any curly rigs you've got. That's got a slight curl on the end. Pushing this through, so if you haven't tied off the bottom, just pushing that through. There we go. I can feel now I'm pushing that, and it's just not going through because it's caught on the lip in there. So you have to tie off your rigs before you push them through here, otherwise it's an absolute nightmare trying to get them through. So we're just going to persist for a minute, because every now and again I have been able to bypass that lip with a little jiggery pokery and a little back and forth, just to sort of jump over that lip at the bottom, which is super annoying. There we go. I think I'm over it. Am I? Just see the tag in there. If we give it a bit more. Here we go, and it's out. So pull your hook link down. Now what you need to do is kind of remember where your shrink tube's going to be going with this. So let's pull it down. If you don't heat where the shrink tube actually is, it doesn't really work as good. So at the bottom you've got the locking mechanism at the bottom there, so you just sort of pull it in, locks it in, so that keeps your hook link nice and taut from the eye of the hook down to here. You can't really see down there, you can a little bit, so you can see the back of the hook sort of is touching the tube, isn't it? And that is where I was finding, when I was heating it, the shrink tube was sticking. Oh, that was close. Anyway, before I put a barbed hook in my finger, let's heat it up. It says 10 seconds, so starting now. So heat up the bit where we've got the tube in. There you go, that's 10 seconds. Now I'm pretty confident, after doing the 5 rigs before, that nothing's happened to that. Let's have a look. Oh, and that tube is hot, so be careful. Let's have a look. It's not shrunk very well, has it? And this is what I was finding. 10 seconds, as per the instructions, isn't long enough. Now that I've pulled it back out to check, and because I've burnt myself on the tube because the tube gets hot, I've now got to thread this back down, try and jump over that lip. Oh, it's an absolute nightmare. Right, I'm going to pause this and then get this back through. Right, we're back through and the hook is in place. We are now going to heat this up, rotate it a little bit as well. Let's see what that has done. Unclip. Be careful because the hook that's stuck a little bit. Still not great. That's still not great at all. Let's give it a bit more. And I think the people that I've seen review this, there we go. So that is now shrunk around there. But again, I'm still left with, so this bit has straightened up, that's gone through the tube a little bit, but I'm still left with the rig looking like that when it lies flat. I've still got to get my kettle out to sort that out really and pull that down straight. I don't care if you put a loop in the bottom, pull it with 2 rig pullers and straighten it out. It's always going to have a curl in it until you get that steamed or heated. So let's quickly have a look and get the other 2 done and see how long it takes to do them too. Rig number 2 going in. Again, I haven't tied off the bottom because I don't want to. I don't think you should really have to. I mean, really, Nash should really just sort that lip out. I mean, this has come straight out, so it's hit and miss really whether your rig's going to come straight out first time or not. So let's have a look at how far down the shrink tubing will go. So we're looking at that sort of section there. We need to heat up for the shrink tube. So let's do that. And I'm going to do it for a bit longer than 10 seconds because this is like my 10th rig now or so that I've done in this, and I know 10 seconds is not long enough. And I have found as soon as you hear that sort of steaming from the water out of your rig, it tends to mean you've heated it up enough, and voila, you have your shrink tube shrunk. But again, that bit that goes through sort of straightens out with the heat going through the tube. I'm not going to put this on my tackle box because it's hot and I don't want to melt it. But the end stays cold, doesn't it? So on to rig 3. Heat this up again. So we'll time it. So in 3, 2, 1, go. I'm going to rotate. There we go, a little bit of noise, and that water in there has boiled And that, I believe, is a trick to it, is hearing that water boil, because then you know you're around about 100 degrees in there at least anyway, to get that shrink tube really done. But again, if we lie them all down, you've got this first section here that's straightened up a bit. Rest of it remains curly. How are you going to do that? Got to get your kettle out. Absolutely pointless. So there you go. The Nash shrink tube tool, or shrink tool, however they call it, whatever they want to call it.